Hey there, Razorback fans. I'm Sydney Lemmerhurt, and today I'm absolutely thrilled to introduce you to an exceptional athlete from the Razorback volleyball team. Meet Zoi Evans. Her incredible talent and dedication shine both on and off the court. But before we dive into her story, let's take a moment to give a shout out to our sponsor, the Everett Auto Group. They're the driving force behind Buick's See Her Greatness campaign, celebrating the achievements and empowerment of female athletes. With locations in Benton, Bryant, and Rogers, the Everett Auto Group is all about supporting women in sports, and we are so thankful to have them on board. Now, let's jump right in. As your host for today's interviews and a former Razorback gymnast, I am honored to guide you through the experiences and insights of Zoi. Get ready to be inspired as we explore the world of Razorback volleyball with this remarkable athlete who truly embodies the spirit of greatness. It's time to hear her stories and discover what makes her a true champion on and off the court. Welcome, Zoi.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, so nice to talk to you today. Could you give me a little bit about yourself, obviously your name, your background, and kind of how you got into the sport of volleyball?
Yeah, of course. My name is Zoi Evans. I'm a junior from Tampa, Florida. I started playing volleyball in the 6th grade. I played for a great club named Club Steel down in Wesley Chapel, Florida, and I just fell in love with the game. I had a great coach, and ever since then I've been in love with the sport.
Yeah, so why did you pick Arkansas?
I picked Arkansas because it was the best school in the SEC for me. It really embodied the home environment that I wanted to be in. You know, going away for school is really hard, and so the coaching staff here, the environment that the Razorbacks give to you is just what you want being away from home.
Yeah, it's a hard decision to make when you're that young and you're like, you think it's so cool to be so far away, and you get here and you're like, oh my goodness. So it's important you pick a good family while you're here.
For sure.
Could you share a moment in your athletic career when you were little that made you realize volleyball is what I want to do, it's what I'm living and breathing, and it's maybe what I want to do with my future?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was my 8th grade year. We qualified for USAV Nationals, and I played for a really small club, and that's something that the club hadn't done before. And so getting to do that and just seeing the enjoyment in my club director and my team, it was like, wow, like this brings me a lot of joy in. And if I can go to the NCAA tournament and have the same joy on a higher level, that'll bring me so much enjoyment. So I was like, I really want to do this.
Yeah, it's so fun to hear like those realizations of like, this is fun. Like it's more than a sport to me. And that you're good at it too helps a little bit. So you're so good at being in the community and engaging with little kids. So obviously that's important to you, but what do you want young Razorback fans to kind of remember about you as they aspire to be you one day?
Yeah, just that I'm somebody who is appreciative of them, you know, like without the community, we wouldn't have the success we had last season. They played a big role in coming into Barnhill every day, every game day we had. There were so many more fans and so many young kids that were just passionate to be there. So I just want them to remember that I really appreciate them, you know, like I want to be in the community with them because they are what makes Razorback volleyball.
Yeah, she does such a great job interacting with little kids. They all come up to her. I feel like you're like one of the ones that's constantly out there giving back. So that is such a really cool aspect about you. So like you kind of mentioned, these fans are what makes your sport grow, but with that comes social media and the platform that you have now. How do you think that your platform on social can kind of help utilize bringing some positivity to your sport?
Yeah, I think social media, it can go one of two ways. You know, you can use your social media platform to either instill brightness into your sport or just be a personal page. And I think my goal is to just combine them together, you know. I want to show who I am, but also show like, hey, I love this sport, I love this community, and tie those two things together.
Yeah, and like I said, all eyes were probably more on your socials this year than in past years, especially making it to the tournament. But Arkansas volleyball hasn't always been like that. You know, there are games where there's not that many people there, so you've kind of seen the growth of your sport, especially here. What advice would you have for someone that, is in those beginning stages of maybe they're not on a team here, but they're on a team that's pretty good but doesn't get the attendance or the recognition? What advice do you have for them?
Yeah, just don't give up. Like it can seem like it's never going to happen. It seems like, okay, I'm just out of school, volleyball, it's not really a big priority. But if you win the games, what I've learned this season is if you win the games and you show up for the community, we've had some hard seasons, but by just staying the course and doing all the things that, will get people engaged, we were able to actually grow this year. And a big thing we did was we went into the community before our Wisconsin game. Actually on campus, we went in front of the Union and we passed out donuts and just let students know, hey, we're here, we have a big game, we would love it if you're there. And I think that just allows people to see that we are also a part of that community.
Yeah.
We're not just athletes, you know, we actually want them to be a part of us.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about my job is seeing the athletes really become a part of the community. Because like we said, I'm from Ohio, you're from Florida. Like, we did not grow up in this community, but they kind of took us in and made us their own. So, you know, really having that platform and that choice to be a part of it is huge. Yeah. Could you share a moment in your career where you felt a profound sense of accomplishment? So, you know, a moment where you're like, I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life, or if it's like, hey, I was injured and I overcame an injury. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So specifically, the Kentucky game, our first Kentucky game this series, I actually got hurt. I sprained my ankle.
Scared me.
Yeah. That was a really scary moment for me. But in that moment, my entire family was there. I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. So my entire family, like 40 people, drove up to see me. And in that moment, it was kind of hard for me because I didn't want to just shut down. And, you know, we came out here. My entire family's here. I'm like, I can take this angle up. I still got the adrenaline going for the game, and I was able to go back in. We lost that game, unfortunately, but we were able to take them to 5. And for me, that was a big sense of accomplishment because, you know, if I can't be on the court producing, it's like I want to still be able to help my team in some aspect, you know. Yeah. And so I think that was a big sense of accomplishment for me because I was able to still be out there for my team.
So, couple fun questions coming up. Are you superstitious at all?
Am I superstitious? So I'm a little bit superstitious, but not like I have to wear the same socks every game.
Okay.
With music. Yeah. Music. We have a specific playlist that we play on away games and a specific playlist.
Are you in charge of it?
I'm in charge.
Okay.
I'm on Ox. And so we play the home games, we have a specific playlist and we just keep it going and we dance.
Yep.
That's something we really do. We dance to line dancing is something we do.
That's awesome.
A lot of people think it's kind of weird because it's just like, what are you guys doing in there?
Yeah.
But we dance. So every game, we started dancing. We started that tradition this past year. And so I think
you got to carry it on now.
You got to carry it on because, I mean, in that final stretch we had, we were dancing, we were having fun. And I think it allowed us to really just have fun.
You don't overthink the moment. We were the same way. Our locker room, we had a playlist. We were all very superstitious of like, hey, we haven't played this song yet. Like, we have to play it before we go out there. But those were like the moments I'm always going to remember because it was like you didn't think about your sport for a second. You were just out there having fun. So since you're not that superstitious, do you have any sort of like ritual or strategy you use when maybe, you know, you guys lost the last point or the last set or you made a mistake? Do you have anything you say to yourself?
Me personally, I pray. I just remind myself, hey, we're out here for a reason, you know. Yep. It's okay that you made a mistake, but how can I overcome this in this moment? And I just pray and I ask to just allow me to forget those moments we messed up and go back out there. Who
was your first female athlete that you remember looking up to, whether it was volleyball or not? Talk about her and why.
Candace Parker. Candace Parker was my first person. I really loved basketball growing up, and she just inspired me so much as a female athlete, you know, playing in the WNBA, and even her days at Tennessee. You know, she was a great leader on and off the court. And I think I kind of resembled my game off of her a little bit. Yeah. You know, I was always trying to dunk out there. But
were you tall your whole life?
I've been tall my whole life. Yeah. I got a little bit taller my sophomore summer. I got like in the 6 feet, but I remember in 5th grade I was like 5'8". I've been pretty tall my whole life. So she's a big person I looked up to and modeled my game after a lot. Yeah, that's interesting. We haven't had really any basketball players talked about yet, but there's been so many growing up look at the sport of women's basketball now, but Candace Parker is definitely a good choice. Last question, how would you address any haters that you yourself or your sport might have and advocate for greater respect and recognition? Yeah, it's just, I think the way to go about it is just like, there are going to be haters regardless, you know, like no matter, we went all the way to the Elite 8 and people, you know, you're never going to make everyone happy. So as long as you can just remind yourself, hey, we know what we did. We had a better year than last year. You know, we went to the Elite 8 for the first time in school history. There's still going to be people that are mad. You can't please everyone. So that's the mindset that I give myself. And I think a lot of people should just remember, as long as you accomplish the goals that you set for yourself. Our goal at the beginning of the season was make the NCAA tournament. And we not only did that, we went really far. Yeah, you crushed that goal. So as long as you just complete the goals that you have for yourself, I think there's going to be haters regardless. Just you know. Yeah, it's just important to stay in your little bubble and focus on what you can control at the end of the day. Well, thanks, Zoe. This was awesome. Thank you for having me. Yeah, of course. That is a wrap for today's episode. I want to extend a massive thank you to the phenomenal Zoe who joined us today. Your stories are the heart and soul of our podcast, and your greatness shines through in every word.
I also want to express my gratitude to the Everett Auto Group for continuing to promote the See Her Greatness campaign. With locations in Benton, Bryan, and Rogers, they're not just in the business of selling cars, they're champions of celebrating female excellence in sports. To my listeners, I can't thank you enough for tuning in and being a part of this empowering journey. Remember, you can catch up on all of our episodes and stay connected with the latest from the See Her Greatness campaign by following us on social media. Until next time, keep believing in your dreams, keep striving for greatness, and keep celebrating the incredible achievement of women in sports. This is Sydney Lemmerhurt signing off.